What does this red triangle mean? It's not in any of my books. Ah! Hello everybody, my name is Julia Pasqua. Welcome back to Lilith's Attic, and you got it right, it's Tarot Card Tuesday. This week our card is the Temperance card. Now, it is kind of a breath of fresh air within the midst of the terrifying tarot cards. They tell me not to be terrified of them, but we're going to call them the terrifying tarot cards. It's right in between the Death card, the Devil card, and the Tower card. So we get a little bit of a break this week, you guys. Take time. We get a break, we get a breather. So the Temperance card is a time for essentially waiting. It is a representation of patience, kind of middle of the line, middle of the territory, nothing too extreme. It's about creating and keeping peace with what you are in currently. It's about waiting and being patient on the things in your life that are already in cycle. Now, we've had cards similar to this before where it's less of an action and more of waiting as the action. It's about avoiding those extremes and kind of keeping more of a center line, kind of a median style to your life. There is an angelic figure as the main focus of this card, and the figure is not exactly feminine or masculine. This card is more gender ambiguous. Temperance is pouring water between two cups, representing the water going between the cups of life, just shifting back and forth, and Temperance is dipping their toe into the water, showing being partially in the spiritual realm and partially in the human realm, and also kind of showing that, you know, when you dip your toe in the water, I like to think that's a great analogy for waiting, adjusting, kind of seeing how things are, but not doing anything extreme. Temperance isn't doing a cannonball straight into the water here. They are just dipping their toe into the water. As you can see, Temperance is very calm. There's nothing too extreme happening here, not like with the Death card. You know, Temperance isn't running over little children in the street. They're just being at ease and being peaceful. So the triangle on Temperance's chest can mean the symbol of the tarot cards, or it can also mean Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Tying together the religious aspect of this card is a time to look forward to look toward the people who guide you, who help you, who watch over you, which can be the angels, which can be a person in your life, whatever it may be. So hence also the angelic figure. Now, if you read the Temperance card in reverse, this can mean that you are trying to force that action. You are not being patient. You are not waiting. You are trying to take action when you shouldn't be, and that can cause a really bad outcome. So you need to be patient, you need to wait. This means you're not being patient. I have an issue being patient, so I'm sure other people do as well, but this card is all about taking that time to be patient. Okay, time to do our thing. Let's go. This tarot card deck is really pushing my patience with patience, because this is the second time I've had to sit with the concept of patience, which is not something I usually represent in a visual form. So I was waiting around for inspiration on this one, and I started humming the song to myself, Waiting on a Woman. I was big into country music for a long time, and this just kind of came to my mind when I was thinking of patience. It's about a man sitting on a bench waiting on his wife at a store or whatever, and an older man comes up and sits down next to him on the bench, and they start to talk. And the older man is talking about waiting on a woman and how he's waited on a woman his whole life, but he loves her so much and he'd do it all over again. There's a line in the song and it said, I read somewhere statistics show the man's always the first to go. And that makes sense because I know she won't be ready. When it finally comes my time and I get to the other side, I'll find a bench if they got any. She can take her time because I don't mind waiting on a woman. So it kind of also pulls this angelic part of it. In my mind, I finally saw the Temperance card. Like I saw someone sitting on a bench, waiting, being patient, and that was my inspiration. So in my Temperance card, we're not just going to have the angelic figure who represents Temperance, we're going to have a person communicating with Temperance, because to me, that clarification needs to be made. It's not exactly that we are being the figure. Like with the High Priestess, you were being the High Priestess, you are being your high self. With Temperance, it's more that angelic figure resembles a guide. So I wanted a figure next to the angelic figure to show that if you pull this card, we are being guided by this figure, we are not being the angelic figure. So I'm going to have keep the energy of this card sexually ambiguous. We're not going to do feminine energy, we're not going to do masculine energy. We're just going to have two figures sitting next to each other on a bench waiting. Waiting on what? Sometimes we don't know. We're not singing the country song. We're not waiting on a woman here. We're just waiting. And that's the problem with patience, is sometimes you don't even know what you're waiting for, but you have to do it. I've never seen anyone do something extremely extreme on a bench. Usually it's taking time, it's taking a breath, it's taking a rest, it's waiting on something or somebody. It's watching the sunset, it's looking at a creek, it's reading a book. It's not normally like something too extreme in action unless maybe you're into parkour. But even then, I think the bench is something you kind of not typically go, yeah, we're going to go parkour on benches. So my figures are going to be seated on the bench, being patient, being calm, watching either a path or a river, whatever you want to see it as. I wanted to leave that a little bit more conceptual. At first I wanted to make it a path, then I wanted to make it a river, then I just kind of wanted to make it be something they're just sitting by. This might be you're waiting and watching, this might be you're waiting on something to come by. It can work either way. I like to think that the angelic figure and the other figure are sitting there talking. Maybe the angelic figure is giving him some advice not to force action. And the sun is setting and the clouds are nice. It's a nice night out here in this nice, beautiful scenery. I feel that this scenery is very similar to the Empress's scenery. Same kind of clouds, same kind of figures too, which these cards don't go hand in hand, but for some reason my energy seemed to spit out something similar here. I also want to include some little flowers, just my own little serenity by the creek or the river or the path or whatever we're calling this here, just to have a couple flowers sprouting up, because I always think that's a good representation of patience, because we have to be patient with flowers to grow. And if this is a path, that's also funny, because then, you know, we literally have to keep to the middle of the path and not do extreme things. So here's the path we have to keep in the middle of. And that's a Temperance card, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed our break week. Break week in the essence of nothing too extreme, nothing too scary, nothing too stressful. Even though the tarot cards aren't supposed to be scary or stressful, there's just some names that are popping up that seem to bring some alarming feelings up. Next week we do have the Devil card, and the week after that we do have the Tower, so strap in those seatbelts. We are going to power right through them. That's all we can do. But for this week, take some time, be patient, take a breath, stay in the middle of that road. Don't do anything too extreme. Look to your guides, whether that be the angels, whether that be someone in your life who helps guide you. Really take that time to bring them into your life to help them guide you through this time of being patient, because if you're anything like me, you need help being patient. I'm not very good at it. I got a good support. Maybe even pull up a bench this week. Pull up a bench with a friend, watch the sunset, take some time, enjoy the little things. Don't force anything this week. Really just maybe we should all just take a big breath together. Ready? Shake it out. I hope you guys have a lovely week. As always, thank you so much for being here. Please remember, like, subscribe, comment below. There is a description in the box if you want to pre-order this deck. Thank you all so much for being here. I cannot tell you what it means to me. Enjoy that break. Take those breaths and have a great week. See you next Tuesday, guys. Bye. Mwah. Waiting on a woman.